Hello students, today we are going to study about topic number 9.8 optical instruments. Students, optical word optical or optics, that is always related to light, and instruments, those instruments which uses light are known as optical instruments. We know that mirrors, lenses, prisms, telescope, microscope, etc. These objects or instruments, they uses visible light to form image and any other phenomena. And these phenomena are due to reflection of light, refraction of light, dispersion of light. So this type of phenomena takes place in this type of instruments. And so images are formed as well as different patterns can be obtained by using this type of instruments. Students, even our eyes is a natural optical instrument, because in our eyes there is a lens which helps to form the image on the retina. So we can say that our eye is also a natural optical instrument. The best thing of our eye is that the lens of our eye is flexible, and so its focal length can be easily changed with the help of ciliary muscles in the eye. Now, topic number 9.8.1, the microscope. Now, students, we know that microscope magnifies small objects and the enlarged image is obtained. In biology, we use microscope to observe microorganisms, cells of the plants or the animals, etc. But a simple microscope is nothing but it is a magnifying lens. It is a convex lens, a single convex lens, that is a magnifying lens, is a simple microscope. So a simple microscope is a converging lens of small focal length. If the object is at a distance of focal length, that means if the object is kept at the focus or near to the focus, the image of this object is formed at infinity. And we know that when the image is formed at the infinity, what happens? That image is quite large, and also the image will be inverted. It is at a very far away, that means at infinity, as well as it is inverted. But if the object is at a distance slightly less than the focal length, means suppose here this is the object, and if the focus is here, this is focal point, and if the object is at a distance slightly less than the focal length, then what will happen? The image will be virtual and erect. It is on the same side of the object. You can see object is also on this side, even image is also on this side. So image will be virtual and erect, and it is closer than the infinity. Otherwise, what will happen? If the object is placed exactly at the focus, if this object is exactly at the focus, then image will be on the other side, towards this side, and it will be at infinity. Now students, about near point. Near point means, suppose you are observing any object. Now this object can be seen clearly if and only if this distance is greater than or equal to d, and this d is nothing but it is a near point for a normal eye, and generally it is equal to 25 centimeter. For a normal eye, this near point, that is d, is equal to 25 centimeter. Means if this object is kept at 25 centimeter or away from it, then you can observe this object clearly. But what will happen if the object is brought closer than this distance? Then we cannot observe this object clearly. And if we try to observe this object, then what will happen? Our eyes will start paining and headache will start. You just try by taking a pen or pencil and keep that pen or pencil very close to your eye. That means a distance less than 25 centimeter. So keeping that distance, try to observe a pen or a pencil. You will find that you are not able to observe that pen or pencil clearly. And if you will still try to observe it clearly, then what will happen? There will be a strain in your eyes, and headache will start. And so to observe any object clearly, it should be either at point D or greater than it. So D is a near point of an eye. So now students, what is simple microscope? That is now known to us that a simple microscope is a converging lens of small focal length. Then next thing we remember is, if the object is at a distance f, the image will be at infinity. But however, if the object is at a distance slightly less than that of the focal length of the lens, the image is virtual, erect, and closer than the infinity. So image will be definitely magnified. And the closest comfortable distance for viewing the image is when the object is at a near point. And for a normal eye, near point is about 25 centimeter. Now students, magnification by a simple microscope. Simple microscope means a convex lens. So we have already studied that magnification is given by m is equal to v by u. This can be written as v into 1 by u. Let us give this equation number 1. Now from the lens formula, we know that 1 upon f is equal to 1 upon v minus 1 upon u. If we make subject 1 upon u, then we will get 1 upon u is equal to 1 upon v minus 1 upon f. Let us give this equation number 2. Why we have made this 1 upon u subject from this equation? Because now this value we are going to put here in equation number 1. So now putting 1 upon u from equation number 2 to this equation number 1, we get m is equal to v into u. This is u. Now opening these brackets, we will get 1 minus v by f. So I hope till here it is clear to you. But as the image is formed at near point, remember where the image is formed, image is always formed at near point. So in that case, image distance v, this v, can be taken as d. Because image is formed at near point, we can take image distance as d. And students, see here, there is a negative sign. It is because we have to use the sign convention. So we have kept minus d, because even the image is on the same side of the object, and always we used to take object distance negative. So now if the image is also formed towards the side of the object, then it is also negative. So now putting this v is equal to minus d, we will get magnification m is equal to 1 plus d by f. Give this equation number 3. Students, once again you can see here, object is also towards this side, left side, even image is also towards left side, and that's why there is a negative sign. So this image distance v is nothing but it is d, but negative. Now for an object to be clearly visible without a lens, now without lens, that means by naked eye, it should be at the near point. To observe any object clearly, that object should be at near point, that is minimum distance to observe any object clearly. And so you can see this from the figure, that this is the object and it is at a distance d from the eye, and it subtends an angle theta naught. This angle is theta naught. So from figure we can write tan theta naught is equal to h upon d. This we have done earlier also, this type of thing. And we know that generally theta is very small. So in that case, tan theta naught can be written as simply theta naught. So theta naught is equal to nearly equal to h by d. You can see here this symbol is for approximately equal to or nearly equal to. Give this equation number 4. Now we know that according to definition, magnification m is equal to image height upon object height. Also it is equal to v by u, and therefore from this much part, if you will make the subject h dash, then h dash will be equal to h into v by u. Let us give this equation number 5. Now angle subtended by the image, just observe this figure, and from the figure it is clear that the angle subtended by the image, that is tan theta I, which is nearly equal to theta I because angle is very small, is equal to h dash upon minus v. Now students, why it is h dash upon minus v? It is because the image is formed, suppose here. So image height will be h dash, and from the lens this distance will be image distance v. So here this angle formed is theta I, you can see in the figure. So theta I will be h dash upon v. You can see according to sign convention this h dash, as it is vertical along the positive y direction, it is positive only, but image is towards the negative x direction, that is towards the left side, so we have kept minus v. So always remember this sign convention. And so theta I is equal to h dash upon minus v. Now this h dash upon minus v can be written as 1 upon v minus into h dash. Can we write this as this? So writing in this way, 1 upon v, that is minus 1 upon v, as it is h dash from equation number 5. What is h dash? It is h into v by u. So putting this from equation 5, we get minus 1 upon v into h v by u. Now v will cancel. What is remained? Minus h by u. So theta I is equal to minus h by u. Now students, if the object is kept at focus, that is object distance is equal to f. Why there is negative sign? It is because it is towards this side. That's why object distance is taken negative. So if the object is placed at the focus, what will happen? This u will be equal to minus v, minus f. So in that case, if we put this value in place of u, what will get? Theta I is equal to h by f. This minus and this minus will cancel out. That is minus into minus will become plus. So we obtain theta I is equal to h by f. Let us give this equation number 6. Now angular magnification means magnification in terms of angle. So it can be defined as, it is the ratio of the angle subtended to the image to that the angle subtended to object. So angular magnification m is equal to theta I upon theta naught. But what is theta I? Theta I is h by f. And what is theta naught? From equation number 4, it is h by d. See here, theta naught is h by d from equation 4. So putting this here and then simplifying means h will cancel and we'll get d by f. So magnification for a simple microscope is obtained to be d by f. Simple microscope means a magnifying lens. But remember, this is for an image to be at a very large distance, because object is kept at the focus, so image will be at a very large distance. So finally we can say that from equation number 3 and from equation number 7, what is equation number 3? Equation number 3 says that magnification is 1 plus d by f for near point. And for this condition, when the image is formed at a large distance, it is d by f. So both these equations suggest that the value of the magnification should be between d by f and 1 plus d by f. This d by f is when the image is formed at a very large distance, and this 1 plus df means when the image is formed at a near point. So definitely magnification should be between these two values. Now about compound microscope. Students, simple microscope has a limitation of magnifying the image of a given object. The maximum magnification which can be obtained using a simple microscope is equal to 9. So its limit is less than equal to 9. Greater than 9, magnification greater than 9 cannot be obtained practically with the help of simple microscope, because to obtain the magnification even greater than 9, this focal length has to be reduced, but we cannot reduce this focal length up to a certain limit, and so magnification greater than 9 cannot be obtained. Now what to be done to get magnification even more than this value? So for that we have to use compound microscope. A compound microscope consists of two lenses, or sometimes more also, but here we will consider two lens compound microscope. So with the help of two lens we can even get larger magnification. Here you can see a figure of a compound microscope. You can see there are two lenses. Here this is first lens and this is the second lens. This lens is called objective lens because an object is kept towards the objective lens, and this lens is called eyepiece because we observe the image, final image formed from this side towards this lens. So it is called an eyepiece. Now focal length as well as aperture of this objective is quite small compared to eyepiece. Eyepiece has a larger focal length as well as its aperture, that means surface area of the lens, that is also more. Now what happens when the object is placed here? So when the object is placed here, the image is formed at this point. So object is denoted by here AB, and so here a real and inverted image is obtained due to this objective lens. So first this image is obtained due to objective. Now this image will behave like an object for this second lens, which is eyepiece. So now forget about this lens. So this will be the object for this second lens, and hence with the help of this lens, that is eyepiece, we can get a final image. You can see this is a final image which is a virtual and very much larger compared to the object. So in this way, with the help of two lenses, we can get a virtual and inverted image, and this image is formed at a near point. So this lens, this eyepiece, behaves as a simple microscope but as this lens is also used, it is overall compound microscope. But actually for this as an object, this lens is nothing but it is a simple microscope like a magnifying lens. But to obtain this image, we have to use one more lens, and that's why two lenses are required, and the final image obtained is very much larger. Now students, here u is the object distance, this FO is the focal length of objective, FE is the focal length of eyepiece. And now from the figure you can see here this angle beta is formed here. So if this angle is beta, then this angle is also beta, and if this is height h of the object, then even this distance here in the lens, that is also equal to h only. So we can write tan beta is equal to h upon FO. This distance is FO, so beta is equal to h upon FO. So from figure we can write tan beta is equal to h upon FO. Also students, magnification for objective is h dash upon h. This is according to definition. Magnification of objective is image height upon object height. So we have written that also, and let us give this equation number 1, and tan beta is h upon FO is equal to h dash upon L. Why it is h dash upon L? So once again look here, from this much part we obtained tan beta is equal to h upon FO. But for this triangle, look here, again this angle is beta, so tan beta will be h dash upon this distance, and this distance is nothing but it is L, which is called the tube length, and this L is nothing but it is a distance between the two focal points. You can say this is the focal point for objective, and this is the focal point for eyepiece. So distance between the two focal points is nothing but it is a tube length. So it is clear that tan beta is equal to h dash upon L. So here we have written h dash upon L. Now in this, if we bring this h towards right side and this L towards left side, then we will get h dash upon h is equal to L upon FO. Let us give this equation number 2. Now students, I have defined tube length here. The distance between the second focal point of the objective and the first focal point of the eyepiece is called the tube length of the compound microscope. We know that for any lens, focus is on both the side. So for this objective, if we consider this as the first focal point and this as the second focal point, then this distance, that is second focal point, to this distance, that is first focal point of eyepiece, because this is focal point first focal point of eyepiece, and towards this side there will be a second focal point. So it is a distance between the second focal point of the objective and the first focal point of the eyepiece. That is nothing but it is a tube length. Now comparing equation number 1 and 2, that is these two equations, we get MO, that is magnification of objective, is equal to L upon FO. You can easily compare, because in both this equation there is H dash upon H, here also H dash upon H, here also. So M naught is equal to L upon FO. Let us give this equation number 3. Now the first inverted image is near the focal point of the eyepiece, and the final image is formed at the near point. You can see in the figure, the first image which is formed is near the focal point. You can see this distance is FE. So this image is formed near the focal point. So we have to adjust this lens by sliding to or fro, and we have to adjust in such a way that this image which is formed should be near the focal point of this eyepiece. Students, if you have used a microscope, you might be knowing that eyepiece of the microscope can be moved up or down with the help of screw given. So with the help of screw we can move the eyepiece up or down. So in that case what we are doing, we are adjusting that eyepiece so that this image which is formed by this objective forms or falls near the focal length of this eyepiece. So now final image is formed at near point D, and we know that magnification due to eyepiece is ME is equal to 1 plus D by FE. We have studied already and obtained this formula, that M is equal to 1 plus D by FE for eyepiece, because even eyepiece behaves as a simple microscope. So we have already obtained this equation, so that we have used here. So give this equation number 4. Now when the final image is formed at the infinity, magnification ME is equal to D upon FE. Students, we have both this equation. We have this equation also and this equation also. When the final image is formed at infinity, this one can be neglected. So if we neglect this one, what is remained? D upon FE. And this condition also we have studied in that simple microscope. You can see here, when the image is at a very large distance, that is at infinity, magnification is D by F. So we have written that case here. So magnification of eyepiece is D upon FE. Finally, total magnification M is product of both the magnifications, that is MO into ME, magnification due to objective and magnification due to eyepiece. But MO is equal to L upon FO and ME is equal to D upon FE. So we obtained the magnification of a compound microscope in terms of tube length, near point, and the focal lengths of objective and eyepiece. Now students, in order to have a large magnification, tube length L of the microscope should be kept large. So if this distance is kept large, then we can get large magnification. Now next topic is telescope. Students, with the help of microscope we can observe a very small objects like microorganisms or cell, but with the help of telescope we can observe a large objects, a celestial bodies. We know that celestial bodies, they are very large, but they are very far away from us. So to observe such type of celestial bodies like moon, planets, stars, etc., astronomical telescopes are used. See students, in compound microscope the object is quite close to the objective lens. It is very near. But here these celestial objects are very far away from us. Actually they are very large bodies, but they look very small because they are very far away from us. And so a telescope brings that objects closer. Means we can observe the image quite close to us. Now, two types of telescopes are there: astronomical telescope and terrestrial telescope. With the help of this astronomical telescope, we can observe the celestial bodies, and with the help of terrestrial telescopes, we can observe the things on the earth. Suppose if we want to observe a bird sitting on a tree which is very far away, then we can use terrestrial telescope. Or suppose we want to observe a cricket match on a ground from a high rise building near to the ground, then we can use terrestrial telescope. So in short, terrestrial telescopes are used to observe the far away objects on the earth. Now students, you can see this figure. It is quite opposite to that of the microscope. Here in telescope, the objective lens is having a large aperture and also large focal length. You can see the rays from the objects, they are parallel. Rays coming from the object is parallel. Why these rays are parallel? Because when the object is at a very large distance, the rays coming from such objects are always parallel. And you can see here eyepiece is having small aperture as well as its focal length is also small. So this is a reverse case of a compound microscope. Now, light from a distant objects enter the objective and a real image is formed in the tube at its second focal point. Now students, these lenses, they are kept inside a tube. The tube is like this. And so the rays coming from the objects, they are refracted through this objective lens and an image is formed at the second focal point of this eyepiece, because first focal point is towards this left side, and so this is a second focal point of eyepiece. Now students, the aperture of this lens is kept large. It is because more rays can be gathered if the large area is there. If this lens has a large area, then it can gather more rays, and so the image will be more clear. So that is the reason why this cross sectional area of this lens or the aperture is kept very large. And so if the surface area of this objective is large, then its light gathering power will be also large. Now students, the eyepiece magnifies the image, producing final image which is inverted. So it is clear that first image is formed due to objective. Then this image which is formed serves as an object for this eyepiece. And so the final image is formed, and which is inverted as well as virtual. Now the magnifying power M of the telescope is the ratio of the angle beta subtended at the eye by the final image to the angle alpha which the object subtends at the lens. So students, you can see, according to this definition, magnification is beta upon alpha. You can see this beta, this angle beta here is the angle subtended at the image, and this alpha, here you can see this angle alpha here or here is the angle subtended to the object, because these rays are coming from the object. So this angle is subtended at the object, and here this angle beta is subtended at the image, and so it is angle beta upon angle alpha, angle subtended at the image to the angle subtended at the object. Now from figure it is clear that beta is equal to h upon fe. Look at the figure. This angle beta is h upon fe. This is the focal length of eyepiece, and alpha is h upon fo, but as it is in the denominator, so fo upon h is written. Let me show you alpha is h upon fo in the figure. This is angle alpha. So in this triangle it is h upon this distance, that is fo. Finally h is cancelled out. We obtain fo upon fe. So magnification of a telescope is fo upon fe, means focal length of objective upon focal length of eyepiece. So students, what should be done to get large magnification? To get large magnification, we can increase the focal length of objective, or we can decrease the focal length of eyepiece. In this case, the length of the telescope tube L should be greater than or equal to FO plus FE. So this is the condition, that what should be the tube length of the telescope. So tube length should be greater than or equal to FO plus FE. You can see in this figure, this is FO and this is FE. So this L, this distance L should be greater than or equal to this much distance. So this is the condition. So it is clear that FO plus FE is the optical length of the telescope. Tube length should be greater than this, but this term, this summation FO plus FE, is called the optical length of the telescope. Now students, for a telescope, light gathering power and resolving power are very important. Resolving power means power to view two nearby objects distinctly. We know that when we observe two stars, suppose the two stars are quite close to each other when we observe this by naked eye. But if the telescope has a high resolution power, then these two stars can be observed separately. Otherwise, these two stars will found to coincide each other. But if a telescope has a high resolution power, then these two stars can be observed separately. Now, amount of light entering the objective of the telescope is directly proportional to the square of the diameter of the objective. As I said earlier, its area should be more. So if the diameter is more, then area of the objective will also be more, and if the area is more, then it will gather more light, and so it will have high resolution. And so the desirable aim in optical telescopes is to make them with objective large diameter. The image formed by such telescope are free from any kind of chromatic aberration and distortions. Now students, chromatic aberrations means when we observe any object, sometimes we observe some circular colored rings also around the object. Try to observe a tube light or a bulb with the help of a scale, a transparent scale. You will find that tube light or a bulb will have some color shades around it. That color shades are due to chromatic aberrations, or they are known as chromatic aberrations, and due to that, what happens, the image is not observed clearly. So with large diameter of an objective, the chromatic aberrations can be reduced, as well as there will not be any distortions. Now what are distortions? When we try to magnify that image of the object which we are observing, then sometimes what happens, if we try to magnify it, then the image will spread out. So that is nothing but that is distortion, spreading out of the image. So a large diameter objective is preferable. Now some general information is given here, that the telescope at the Yerkes Observatory in Washington, USA, has the largest lens objective. It has a diameter of 40 inch, that is approximately equal to 1.02 meter. Now, terrestrial telescope have, in addition, a pair of inverting lenses to make the final image erect. Students, here for this astronomical telescope, the image which is obtained here is inverted. Object which is at a far away distance is erect, straight, but the image is inverted. But we know that when we are observing the objects on the earth, we have to use terrestrial telescope, and this terrestrial telescope use an additional pair of inverting lenses so that that inverted image can be seen erect. So extra lenses are used to make the final image erect. Now, refracting telescope can be used both for terrestrial as well as astronomical observations. Refracting means lenses, the telescope which uses lenses, and we know that lenses, they refract the light. So these are also known as refracting telescopes. Now students, about reflecting telescopes. Now in reflecting telescopes, definitely light gets reflected, and for reflection we know that the mirrors has to be used. Now why these reflecting telescopes are preferred than the refracting telescopes? It is because if the reflecting telescopes are used, we get rid of the problems faced in high resolution and high magnification. Also, the chromatic aberrations will not be observed when we use the mirrors. So, the modern telescopes which are used are generally reflecting telescopes to get rid of some problems faced in refracting telescope. In such telescopes, that is in reflecting telescopes, even the chromatic aberrations as well as spherical aberrations can be removed. Now students, I have explained what are chromatic aberrations, that colored rings are seen around the object. Now what are spherical aberrations? Now students, in spherical aberrations, what happens when we try to observe a point like object, then image of this point like object will get spread out. So that is nothing but it is a spherical aberration, spreading of the image. Now here the construction of a reflecting telescope is shown. You can see the light coming from the far away object. They are generally parallel. They are first reflected from this mirror, and this is a concave mirror. So they get reflected and they fall on this secondary mirror, which is convex mirror, and once again these rays are reflected and they are focused at this point where there is a eyepiece. And so students, as the eyepiece is at this place, here in this objective mirror, we have to put a little hole so that light rays can be focused to this eyepiece. So there should be some aperture kept on this objective at the center. So students, parallel rays coming from a distant object are incident on the reflecting surface of the primary concave mirror. The rays, after getting reflected from from this surface, are focused on the principal focus of the mirror. Means after reflection, these are focused at the focal point of this concave mirror, and here this convex lens is kept. So now the rays reflected by the secondary mirror, that is convex mirror, are focused on the eyepiece after passing through the hole kept in the primary mirror. Students, diameter and focal length of primary mirror are kept large, so that if this is large, then its light gathering power will increase. The largest telescope in India, which telescope? Reflecting telescope, is in Kavalur, which is in Tamil Nadu. Its diameter is about 2.34 meter, and it is a reflecting telescope. This telescope is used by Indian Institute of Astrophysics at Bangalore. Also, one more information is given that the largest reflecting telescope in the world is a pair of Keck telescopes in Hawaii, USA. This telescope has reflector of about 10-meter diameter. Students, if you want more information of this type of telescopes, then you can search in Google. Now students, I have given a note here that there is a problem with a reflecting telescope, that the objective mirror focuses light inside the telescope. We know that as this is the objective, and it reflects the light in the tube of the telescope, and so one must have an eyepiece and the observer right there obstructing some light. Means to observe the image, eyepiece is kept here, and due to that what happens, we have to put a hole here, and when the hole is kept here, it obstructs the light coming from the object. So this is one of the drawback. Now students, a telescope in California named as Mount Palomar telescope, whose diameter of the objective is about 5.08 meter. In this telescope, an arrangement is made where the viewer sits near the focal point of the mirror in a small cage. So a viewer has to be inside the telescope where the lights reflected are focused. So students, I hope you understood about this optical instruments. Also go through the textbook.